Hello, welcome to Juniper Level Botanic Garden, the home of Plant Delights Nursery. And we're going to look at what is not a catastrophe, but looks like a catastrophe. What's going on with my plant? This is an evergreen plant. Evergreens don't lose foliage. Well, yes, they do. Beginner gardeners often think, well, I'll plant just evergreen trees because I'll never have to rake leaves. Well, a lot of evergreen plants will shed all of the previous year's foliage in the spring when they're putting out new foliage, and that's exactly what this Fatsia is doing. This is Fatsia japonica, often called the Japanese Aurelia, and these are just last year's leaves being shed. You know, if you didn't do anything at all, the plant will be just fine. If you want to tidy it up, when they get this yellow, they just pluck off. But the main point we want to make today is that evergreen plants do lose foliage. And many of them, as I said a moment ago, will shed last year's foliage at the time that they're putting out new growth in the spring. And so not only do you have leaves to rake in the fall, but if you grow evergreen plants, you get a second season when you can rake the leaves in the spring. Our big Eliocarpus, which is a large evergreen, broadleafed evergreen tree, sheds all of last year's foliage in the spring, and they turn this beautiful red. The ground gets carpeted with red leaves. From a distance, you think it's a bunch of red flowers, but still, you know, it's losing the previous year's foliage. Some plants, like pine trees and other conifers from cold climates, will often shed their oldest needles in the fall, so they have less to support through the winter months. So just remember the difference between an evergreen plant and a deciduous plant is that deciduous plants lose all their leaves at one time and go through some point of the year without foliage, and evergreen plants, depending on what type of evergreen plant, will either lose a lot of foliage in the spring or a bunch of foliage in the fall, or you have a third group of evergreen plants that sort of slowly drop leaves all year round. Our gorgeous southern magnolias are always dropping something, and cryptomerias, I think those plants are best put in the background and not hanging over your deck or something like that, because in the background they can drop their leaves and you don't have to clean them up. So don't panic in the spring when your evergreen plants are losing foliage. It's just part of the normal process. The difference is that an evergreen plant, provided it's healthy, never loses all of its foliage at one time. Year round it has foliage. I hope that lowers the fear level for those of you out there that might be beginning gardeners. This is just normal. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope to see you again in the garden.